and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, episode 45.
Woo!
I'm Chris, and joining me today are...
Ames, Caitlin,
and Jake.
Today we will be looking at 3 episodes of Star Trek, the animated series.
Almost done with them, though.
Thank Christ. Today we will be looking at 3 episodes of Star Trek, the animated series, Once Upon a Planet, Mudd's Passion, and the Terratin Incident. In Once Upon a Planet, the Enterprise is returning to the Shore Leave planet for some shore leave.
Yeah. Shore leave, you must be kidding.
No, I'm
Don't
serious.
call me shore leave.
And shortly after beaming down, oh, look, there's the White Rabbit and Alice again, and Doc sees what I think might be a plantation, which is kind of uncomfortable. But then robots show up and kidnap Uhura, and, Kirk and some folks beam back down to try to find her, but then evil, dangerous things start appearing. Doc had been attacked by some playing cards and the Red Queen. There's a bunch of running around, dodging dangerous manifestations from the planet. Meanwhile, Uhura is talking to the planet's central computer, and we find out between that and a tombstone that somebody built that the keeper of the planet has passed on, and the computer in charge has decided he is done just sitting around letting people be happy. He's trying to take over the Enterprise so he can go and see the galaxy. Kirk and the landing party eventually trick their way into the control room via some medical trickery that makes the planet think Spock has been injured, and Kirk and the others basically convince the computer, no, if you keep making people happy, the galaxy will come to you. And the computer's like, yeah, alright, but I want to talk to Spock for a while. And Spock is like, fuck yes. And shore leave resumes. In Mudd's Passion, the Enterprise is sent to act as intergalactic cops, because apparently they didn't have anything better to do.
Bad boys, bad boys. What's Mudd gonna do?
Fuck everything up.
Yep.
Commit fraud as usual.
Yes. So they are going to capture Harcourt Fenton Mudd, who is on the mining planet of Motherlode, trying to hawk little crystals that contain a love potion.
Trying to hit the mother load.
Yes.
Bust a mother load.
Something about a money shot? I really don't know.
Whoa.
So they have to sort of... The planet Motherlode doesn't actually recognize Federation law, so they have to do some tomfoolery. They just have to show the miners that, no, Mudd is trying to bamboozle you, which causes them to start trying to kill him. So he's like, oh god, fine, I turned myself over for my own safety. In the brig, he's left alone with Chapel, and is like, look, nurse, I still have some love potion. You still want to fuck Mr. Spock, don't you? And she's like, no, I mean, kind of, but you're a swindler, but... And so she takes one of the crystals, and Mudd, in the process, pickpockets her phaser and
ID
work
badge?
ID?
Yeah.
Which, what? And Chapel uses the love potion on Spock, who at first is like, I'm fine. Why? But then turns out, it does work, but Chapel's already burst out of the room in a huff because she's mad and wants to go yell at Mudd, but he's not in the brig, and she chases him down to the... what's the damn word? Shuttle bay. And in the process of her trying to apprehend him, a bunch of his love crystals fall into the vents, so love gas just goes throughout the ship. Meanwhile, Mudd inexplicably knocks her out. It's very vague. She sort of falls into his arms.
Who wouldn't, though?
I mean, well... And, he pinches a shuttlecraft and takes Chapel as a hostage and goes to the nearest planet, which is some shitty desert world. Everyone on the ship's getting kind of high and too friendly with themselves, at each other, rather.
Some of them probably got too friendly with themselves also.
It's true.
Eric's, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Eric's gets no love.
How many dicks does he have?
3. Let's go with his 3 arms and his 3 legs. Actually, his third leg just is his dick.
No!
It's enormous. Like that, what's that one? There's that 4-legged thing in, I want to say Africa that's dick is literally as long
the
as
tapir.
That's it, thank you.
Yeah.
Dick literally as long as another leg.
Yeah. So anyway.
This has been Biology Corner.
Biology Corner.
Yay.
What the hell were we saying? Oh, yes. So Mudd goes down to
as big as his leg.
Yeah, desert planet. Spock is all like, I have to go find my love. And McCoy is like, well, that's weird. And And Kirk is like, well, we're not going to be able to stop them, are we? So they just go down, Kirk and Spock follow Chapel and Mudd, who are being attacked by what we thought were mountains, except it was really obvious it was going to be alive. And meanwhile, they can't get an emergency beam up because there are people dancing in the transporter room instead of working the controls. But then everyone's mad at each other, and then Kirk chucks some love beans into a mountain's mouth. But sadly, this does not result in the mountains tangoing or something.
I really wanted the mountains to fall in love.
I know, that was the point. But then they
I wanted the mountains to fall in love with Mudd, and that would be like...
even better.
I thought the mountains were going to fall in love with Kirk, and that was like...
Yeah. But we'll get to that when we actually discuss the episode.
Okay.
So then they beam back up, and Mudd is giving his confession, and we end it there.
And everyone's pissed at each other because the
yes,
love drug turns into hate drug.
Yeah, it wears off, and they hate each other for a few hours before returning to normal.
Whoops, lol.
In the Terratin Incident, magic space radiation makes the crew of the Enterprise start to shrink. They eventually realize it was being shot at them by a shrunken city to get their attention because their planet was dying, so that they could help them get off. The transporter is magic and fixes everything. They separate the city from the planet and are going to take them somewhere else. That was the episode. It was dumb.
It had such potential, but the art was so bad.
And it was just so dumb. Anyway, let's hit these up. Once Upon a Planet.
Return to shore leave.
Yeah.
But, why? Just why? Why would they go back?
I don't know. I'm going to assume someone must have loved shore leave or something.
I mean,
I think it was considered one of the best ones by, the producers and stuff. And also why, but...
I mean, I certainly liked it more than I liked the original Shore Leave episode.
Yeah, apparently there was another sequel to Shore Leave proposed for the original series when it was, in second or third season, I'm guessing, but wasn't accepted. I don't know much more about that.
But it wasn't the same story as far as we know? Or?
I don't believe so.
See, the original Shore Leave would have been a better episode if it had been 25 minutes long like this one, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there would have been less giggling friggin' Finnegan and...
Oh, never mind. I take it back then. Oh, hidey-tidy-tie, Jimmy, me boy. Oh, do-do-do-do.
Oh, Finnegan.
Oh, dear. I was half wondering if he was going to show up again, especially since the projections, or whatever the fuck you call them, were getting violent.
They were just running amok. There was a line that was funny that Kirk says. He says, "This once friendly planet has become very dangerous." And I'm like, when was it friendly?
Yeah,
do you
It
remember?
always tries to kill you.
Wasn't a samurai chasing
Sulu,
Sulu
yes.
around?
Yeah.
Didn't Doc die? Does anybody remember what happened last time?
What's
we were
her
here?
name was attacked by a tiger and ran into a tree.
But this was all before we learned the rules.
Yes.
If you follow the
There
rules,
were some
it's safe.
bunny rabbit girls.
Yes. Although I think they were just showgirls. I don't think they were Playboy bunnies.
Yeah.
Chris, I think your analysis was probably correct. Probably during when we were watching the episode and the landing party that went down to save Uhura got there, and Chris starts going, oh no, it would be awful if a barrage of or an army of Orion slave girls showed up and tried to, I don't know, fuck us to death. Maybe this planet doesn't realize that sex is fatal to people, but boy, it would be really a shame. So maybe that's why they went back. Kirk was like, if I just imagine 70 Orion slave girls.
Well, I mean, I think at the end of the original episode, it was sort of made plain that, now that everyone understands what's going on, it was going to start being used more regularly as a shore leave planet for Starfleet personnel.
Yeah, but
Okay, I
it's
just didn't remember
super
that.
easy to accidentally imagine something that could be dangerous.
That's true.
Even thinking Alice in Wonderland, you think of the singing flowers and the smoking caterpillar and stuff.
Sure.
Those are all perfectly safe elements, but then it segues directly into off with his head,
Yes.
screaming terrible queen lady.
The Jabberwock.
Oh yeah, that beast monster.
Yeah.
And the Momrath outgrabe.
Yeah. Apologies if there's any weird noises in the microphone right now, folks. We've got a cat walking around, sniffing at it, and walking past it, so, as far as we know, nothing weird is happening, but just in case.
He threw my water bottle off the table.
Well, yes,
Weird.
that was what that
little
thump
brat.
was, everyone. Well, he didn't step on any of the buttons, I'm happy.
The cat has exited stage right.
But yeah, overall, I didn't mind this one.
I didn't mind this one either. I got a little lost in some of the computer's logic because it seemed to understand that when the caretaker was around, the caretaker ran things.
Yeah.
And it kind of just did what the caretaker wanted. Yet it believes that ships are masters of a slave race of humans that come here for entertainment.
Well,
And doesn't seem to understand what the power dynamics are, considering it itself had a caretaker.
well, so the caretaker itself, though, and I don't think they said this in the Shore Leave episode, but the implication here was that the caretaker was also a robot.
Oh.
I
'Cause
didn't get
the
that. Then how did he
tombstone-
die?
The tombstone said he stopped functioning, not that he died.
Well, yeah, but the computer didn't understand life, so
Yeah,
the
he
computer
didn't know what
made
murder
it-
was.
Yeah, if the tombstone was made by the computer, he would have phrased it that way.
I suppose that's possible.
Yeah, because who else would have buried him except for one of the incarnations of the computer?
Yeah.
I hope it was one of those
Which-
pterodactyls.
Also,
digging with their little wings and claws.
if he was a robot, you think it just would have spat out a new one. Mm-hmm. So, it's all a little weird.
There was a giant kitty cat.
I
There
love
was.
the giant kitty
There
cat.
was a repeat of,
Was it
which
Cat's
one?
Paw that the big cat?
Yeah, Caswell had a big cat. Trying in vain to get into a room that was too small for it.
It would have been awesome if they'd actually just put that back in, like the film that they already had of the cat, and just like stuck it in there.
That would have been vaguely amusing. But yeah, I do, even if it doesn't quite make sense, I do like the idea that the computer, freed of its usual requirements, is just like, well, fuck this job, it is dumb. I want to go see shit. Like, that's actually...
How is it gonna go anywhere?
Oh, it was taking over the Enterprise.
I guess.
Yeah, it was trying to learn how to fly the Enterprise.
Oh, yeah.
And it was building a new core for itself that it would have inhabited within the ship.
You know what also is weird to me? So they come to realize, oh, well, McCoy, you died here before once. What was that like? And he's like, I don't know.
I was dead.
I was dead at the time.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, it brought you into the inner workings of the place and made a new one of you. Let's try that again. The computer, wants to kill now. Why would it try to save someone when its new function is to kill?
I mean, clearly there was some sort of automated subroutine it hadn't shut off, because it did try to save Spock.
Also,
But yes, there was a big risk, assuming maybe that would be the case.
Also, do we think that Dr. McCoy is not really Dr. McCoy, but is in fact a robot that's been traveling with them ever since Shore Leave?
Oh, we talked about that at the time.
Oh,
I
shit.
still believe that.
Okay, well,
It made him extra sexy, though.
that's true.
But yeah, the one downside is the ending did feel a little rushed. Where it was just like, no, but see, if you're still good, the galaxy will come to you. And the computer's like, yeah, okay.
And you just were hoping he was going to go full computer killer, that's why.
No, I mean, I like the idea that they just talked it down, not to death, but it felt like they didn't have to try very hard to convince it, you know?
Well, it also just seemed like the computer just needed a man to explain it to him, because Uhura tried to basically explain all of the same shit, and the computer was like, no, fuck you! And then
So the
Kirk came in and mansplained it,
Sexist
The computer's
piece of
sexist,
shit.
yeah.
and it was fine.
The computer explaining slavery to Uhura was also uncomfortable.
That
Oh, it was
yeah.
so uncomfortable. It's your master. I was like,
Oh,
why?
where are we going with this? This
Yeah.
is weird.
No.
Oh, computer.
Not exciting.
Understand subtext.
More like series writers.
Oh.
Well, maybe they did it on purpose. Maybe they thought they were,
Clever.
I don't know.
Yeah, the problem I have with this whole planet is that when you think about your fantasy, everyone you're hanging around with gets to see it as well.
That's true.
Whoa.
That's why the holodeck is such a better place to do your
Exactly.
weird fucking creepy shit.
Exactly.
I really want a fucking octopus. Jesus Christ, Sulu.
McCoy, get off that plantation!
Why is there a clown with dicks for fingers?
That was the next iteration
It's Dick
of Alien.
Fingers, the clown. God, I would hate to see him make an animal balloon. Balloon animal, I think, is actually the phrase. Sorry.
Animal balloon. It's when you blow up an
animal.
Oh, like in...
A big spheroid tiger just floating around on a string.
It was like in the original Shrek. They blow up a frog and something
yeah,
else.
that's right. They do that.
And apparently they both have helium for breath, because then the balloons float away.
Well, I imagine that every orifice that Shrek has emits methane, and methane maybe would float? I don't really know.
Maybe, but then Fiona does it, and she's in her human
Well,
form.
she's-
Anyway, this isn't Shrek the podcast.
Man, it should be. Can we do a Shrek the podcast episode?
No.
Shrek's
Damn.
so dumb. I don't like Shrek.
But yeah, so it did feel a little hurried at the end, you know? They were just like...
Yeah,
It
fit
went from-
into the 25-minute time slot.
Yeah, and I just kind of wonder, like, oh, could they have cut something else earlier on to maybe have a bit more back and forth with the computer first?
Well, I mean, they probably could have cut out some of the Uhura trying in vain to explain shit, because I feel like we saw that 3 times.
Yeah. I do give them credit, though. Like, I mean, for all that they fucked it up, there was still... She did try very... You know, she was going to try to bust herself out, but the humor was like, fuck you, I can read minds. So, although it didn't work, she at least didn't just like, well, I'll just wait here to be rescued. I mean, she eventually had to, but she did...
No, Ahura's great. We already know Ahura's great.
Yeah, but it's good. Good to see them keep that up.
We've seen the Lorelei
signal.
Whatever. Yeah.
I did like the final gag, though, with everyone sitting down for the picnic.
Oh, yeah, the dragon is there.
Dragon's there. Oh, I want to have picnic with a dragon.
Well, there's a dragon, Alice, and the White Rabbit, right?
Yeah. And McCoy.
And Sulu was there.
And Sulu. Oh, everyone I love.
But yeah, I can imagine maybe there's, little private rooms you can go to if things are getting funky.
Bang that dragon.
For example, I guess, not what I was going for, but...
That's what we were going for.
Yeah, not much. I mean, this is, it's a retread of Shore Leave plus talking a computer to death.
Yeah. But it wasn't, I mean, again, it was at least quicker, and I remember really not liking Shore Leave the first time around. Again, my hatred for it seemed ridiculous in light of some episodes that came later. But this one, yeah, I don't know. It was, I think...
acceptable.
Yeah, and I think, again, like you said, the shortened length certainly helped. They had to tell the story, and they told it mostly efficiently, I think. So, well done. Sequel better than the original.
Yeah, a lot of attempts to ease up on the animation by having them facing away at a lot of times. So they didn't have to animate the mouths.
Yeah, there was one, I don't remember, it was one of the 3 episodes, I already forgot which one, but there was a moment where Kirk had a lot of lines behind his hand. And then there was a bit in Mud's Passion where Spock just plain stopped talking.
That's right. There was I pointed that out. It was he just said 3 words and his mouth didn't move.
Yeah, it was it was something like, thank you very much, Nurse Chapel, but they only animated the thank you very much, or something.
Listen, Spock is a ventriloquist.
Ooh. Apparently. That's another Vulcan power we've just discovered today.
Would he have a little Vulcan dummy, or do you think it'd be funnier if he had a Klingon?
I think a Nurse Chapel dummy.
Yes, agreed.
That has implications.
That's the only way he'll ever be inside Nurse Chapel.
There it is.
Heyo!
All right, Mud's Speaking of Nurse Chapel,
also fisted.
Yeah,
Mud's Passion.
Yeah.
Or its better title. Ames, give it to us.
Oh, I forgot what it was. Mud Potion number 9.
I fucking love that.
Oh, that is good.
Mud Potion number 9.
Oh, Harry Mudd.
Yeah,
you
and
rapscallion.
Roger Carmel was back.
Halloween songs corner. Sorry.
Yeah, Roger Carmel was back, which was nice.
I'm glad they got the right guy. I was so happy.
It wasn't just being
doing something.
I don't know if Doohan could have done a Harry Mudd.
I can't see Doohan doing
He couldn't
that.
do a Guardian of the Edge of Forever, but they let him
doing that.
Do it anyway. God damn it. You too. I like that he was still in his sort of kingly gear, which was fun. And
what's very fun is apparently there was another Mud sequel for TOS. It would have ended up being a triptych of Mud, but obviously it didn't get picked up. It would have been called Deep Mud.
Oh no!
I don't want to go there, but apparently it would have been his escape attempt from the iMud planet.
I see.
And that he would bribe some pirates with weapons that he found on the iMud planet. And then the pirates and the weapons would get out of control, and he'd have to have the Enterprise come intervene, and it would just become one new big mud problem.
I kind of
Stuck in the mud.
That would have been a pretty interesting episode.
Yeah. Sadly, that didn't happen because Carmel was filming a movie, I hear.
Oh. Wow, it's interesting to see those schedule conflicts and not the studio being like, that sounds too awesome. Can we do something stupid instead, like the apple?
Yes, how about a parallel development planet episode again? We haven't had nearly enough of those yet.
Still, that at least you can use that as a jumping off point. Maybe that's, in this version, that plan worked. It's the pirates he left stranded with the 500 copies of
Stella.
I think I was going to say Esther, and I knew that was wrong.
Stellar, Esther, Phyllis. Whatever.
Agnes.
Whatever the fuck. She's got an old name. Like Wilhelmina.
Grandma names, like the kids from Despicable Me.
Greta.
But yeah, so Mud's back and in tip-top form. He's selling shifty drugs again. That work, despite, shocking even him.
How did he never learn that they worked?
Maybe they just weren't strong enough to make anyone love him, so
Oh,
he assumed
no.
they
Well,
didn't
but no,
work.
he's definitely the kind of guy that doesn't test his own products on himself.
Listen. That Rigelian hypnoid, that weird little lizard-looking monster, that thing must have loved
What
him.
was the point of that? Why? I'm sure he could have just hired a woman to pretend to love him.
Or brought one of his fuck bots.
yeah.
You don't need to pay a Rigelian hypnoid.
You don't have to pay a robot.
Yeah, but
No,
the
but you do have to
Rigelian
pay a
hypnoid will be, if somebody sees it transforming back into a
So this
lizard.
is another shape-shifting creature?
I guess.
Well, they
so.
said it was a projection, so it may have been more of like the salt vampire where it makes you see something. Here's the thing, though. If it is a shapeshifter, maybe that's why it's a Rigelian hypnoid. Because you don't have to pay a Rigelian hypnoid, and at the end of the day, when it looks enough like a woman...
Good point.
No, Harry.
It did have a lot of legs when it was in hypnoid form, I think.
Yeah.
It was cute. I liked it.
Yeah, it was the way it sort of trundled off.
It was like an opossum.
Yeah, a little bit.
Or just a regular possum.
But yeah, no, Harry does not seem like the kind of person who would test his own goods on himself. And also, he definitely doesn't stick around after selling his goods. So like, I could totally see
Like
Steve
any
like...
good snake oil salesman.
Yeah, he's just like, here's some stuff, see ya! So he never hung around to find out, oh, it works temporarily.
Yep, and then makes things infinitely worse.
Actually, the one time he did stick around, I don't think it was the same stuff, but he sold something they mentioned to some aliens, and it didn't interact well with their biochemistry and caused a wide-scale illness.
It was the same thing.
Was it? Okay, so maybe
Because
that's...
he's like, I didn't take into consideration their weird non-human bodies. It's like,
But apparently it works on just about everyone else. Humans, whatever the fuck Eric's is, cat monsters, mountain things.
I don't know if it necessarily worked on the mountain things.
Well,
'Cause it didn't show them do anything, really.
They got mad at each other.
maybe the
I think
rock
it was
monster.
a jealous rage.
Yeah, I think maybe the rock monsters started fighting because one of them was in love with Kirk and the other one was trying
Yeah,
to
that's what
kill
I was
it.
about to say, but I think that's maybe... The one he actually fed them to was like, you're my friend now. And then the other's like, I'm gonna kill him. He's like, that's my friend! And or lover. Hence the big... But yes, it would have been much, much funnier if the giant mountain monsters... Like, I literally just wanted to see them start waltzing, kind of like those people in the transporter room.
I liked that scene, actually.
That was pretty
the
funny.
transporter scene.
It was funny. Fucking Chapel, though, man. Like, dude.
Yeah.
Honey, get
first you had
over it.
Lorelai's signal, and then you had, Uhura trying her damnedest in the last episode, and now you gotta go right back to, like, some pre-60s sexism with this, like, I mean, I know I can't trust you at all, but I'm so horny for Mr. Spock. It's like, come on, Chapel, you're better than this.
I mean, originally she said she just wanted to study the drug.
Yeah, in air quotes.
Yeah, she's a liar.
Yeah. The only reason she just used it outright was because Mud said, studying is just gonna break it. Because that was really her plan, was she'll study it, and if it seemed like maybe it would work, she was just gonna ram it right up Mr. Spock's fucking ring piece during his next exam.
But that would just make her more in love with him, and that would...
Well, no, because it's you gotta put it on your own skin and then touch the person you want to have it work on.
You meant put the potion on herself and then ram it up his ring.
Yeah, during his next, colonoscopy.
I misunderstood.
or
I assumed you meant the actual crystal itself, right in his butthole.
Yeah, no, sorry, I meant,
Yeah, no.
And he can be all like, we've had, like, machines for this since the 20th century. Or it's like, no, reasons.
This has gotten uncomfortable.
Yeah, this is
Vulcans
awkward.
have different butts.
Yep.
They have
It's a
they have
special
butts.
Vulcan power.
2 butts.
Three butts.
Much more sensitive prostates.
Full of thorns.
Ow.
Well, she'll learn from her
Ugh.
gross philandering then, won't
No
she?
anal on Vulcan, I guess.
Yeah, this whole thing annoyed me about Nurse Chapel. It's like, first of all, bitch, you're not this stupid. Second of all, like, really, would you really want him that way? Would you really want to, like, make him love you for fakesies?
That's
point in-
a very good point.
Point in fact, there was that whole thing where they tried to force her and Spock to make out in Plato's Stepchildren, and she was all like, this is fucked up, so...
Yeah, not like this.
Yeah.
So...
Come on, guys.
I just feel like it's totally against her character, and it made me really sad.
Like, it would have... It would have worked better, and I know this would have been too much effort on their part, but, like, just make up some random security officer who has a wicked thing for some other random person on the ship, and that's why things go screwy.
Yeah, but that's not interesting.
I
It's
know,
got to be
just-
somebody you know.
It's just reduced Christine a little.
Oh, I agree. I think it's terrible, but I mean that's why they used her. They were correct in using them because like that's the will they won't they. I mean we know they won't, but you still can't help rooting for Christine a little. But it just makes sense. It was already there.
Yeah.
I guess also you could have had it like a Kirk Uhura thing, maybe since like they had to kiss that time. Like I don't really know, but then it would have had
Rand back, but that sounds like a mistake in and of itself.
Oh yeah, poor
then
Rand.
she would just get nothing but sexually tormented
again.
Yeah,
poor Rand.
And I'm sure Chapel would have voiced her as well.
Eric's and Maress.
Oh.
Well, I said it had to be characters you cared about.
Scotty and Maress almost became a thing, and that I was interestingly into.
Do you think Maress has sharp claws? And do you think that when she's
Scotty's
horny,
into that?
she needs tear the shit out of Scotty?
Yes.
I'm a woman! Ah!
That's a good thing I'm into this!
Well, as I pointed out, it's the first pussy that Scotty has ever gotten on the Enterprise, so good for him. Good for him. Whatever, you gestured to me. You wanted me to say it.
Well, because, I mean, there were several at home, and
I kept making...
I let you get at least one out of your system.
Yeah, no, there were lots of pussy jokes.
Yeah, the way she purrs and meows is so
liked
weird.
it. It was cute.
Well, because it was just Michelle Barrett doing it with her voice, so it didn't really sound very feline.
Possibly sounded worse than fucking ISIS.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was definitely a little like, oh, yeah, no, I mean, this,
So I was the only one aroused by that purring sound?
No, I liked it. See, I liked it too.
Okay, great. Ames and I, as usual, on the same page.
I'm not gonna look it up, but oh boy, I bet there is a lot of slash fiction with those two.
I'm gonna look it up.
Look it up, Caitlin.
I will.
Write us one yourself.
Oh, yes.
Is it Scotty Maress or Eric's Maress?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, she's gonna go with Scotty.
Scotty
Good
Maress,
good plan.
Was this one where Eric's whistled, or was that the next one?
Yes, it was this one, because...
This is so good!
Because Spock made a comment saying, my darling has been captured, and everyone
looked shocked.
Still frame of, everyone just staring blankly, and Eric's does a...
Which was kind of great if out of nowhere.
No, I got very angry about it.
Ames doesn't like fun, Chris.
I don't know, it was funny. It's just so bizarre. It's like, wait,
yeah, 'cause
your mouth can move like that? You can whistle? I was shocked.
He's got 3 tongues.
Oh,
Well,
3 of everything.
yeah, you're right. Maybe he and Maress should be together. No, thank you.
You know who else should be together? McCoy and the chick he was
yeah.
smooth talking.
That was so great.
That was pretty good.
I ever told you about how I saved Captain Kirk and
Literally
Spock
everyone
and
on this ship.
that gorgeous Uhura or whatever the fuck he said. And P.S. Where the fuck was Uhura? He could have been macking on Uhura, but where the fuck was she? This isn't like the fucking show where they couldn't draw her in because she wasn't available that week. Where was Uhura?
For some reason, they really wanted to have Maress this week.
Yeah.
I guess it's better. Scotty and Uhura is a little it's sort of back to like why when I got her for my fic, I was just kind of like, I don't really feel like making her. It feels awkward. She's our only actress of color. You're not gonna make people be gross at her.
That's fine. Well, let's just explain slavery to her again.
Jesus.
No, let me explain it to you.
Really, what it comes down to is whoever wrote this episode was a furry, and they were like, this is as close as I'm going to get to slipping it into this show, so...
Scotty got pretty close to slipping it in as well. Oh, goodness. So, like, she's a cat person. Do the male cat people have barbed dicks like normal cats?
I was thinking it, but I wasn't going to say it.
Also,
I'm always happy to be here.
Cat copulation is very violent.
Yeah, it's very loud and terrifying.
Oh, man, I bet the cat people and Klingons get on really well.
I'm vomiting. It's fine. Anyway.
Does she go into heat? That'd be several episode arc.
I mean, Vulcan.
Allow me to add that to my slash fiction. Heat.
Anyway.
Gross.
But yeah, Roger Carmel did an excellent job. Mm-hmm. It was nice to see him back.
Oh, I read somewhere that he was the voice of Smokey the Bear in the 70s and 80s.
No shit! Huh. That's cool.
Shit.
But yeah, no, overall, I think this was one of the better ones we've had as far as the animated series goes.
Was it? This one? I was kind of nonplussed with it.
Yeah.
I guess I was just happy to have Mud back and the ridiculousness, and Eric suddenly has his weird guitar thing.
Oh, yeah,
I did like
guitar.
that.
That's
that
what he was in
cool.
love with.
Because he could use all 3 hands to play it.
I also liked his hey, by the way, I went checking on the landing party, and they're like, oh yeah. Just the weird little everyone's kind of high on the Enterprise thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm pretty sure Mud's love potion was just E.
Yeah, I think the best episode of this series is gonna be the last one because that'll be it. I was trying to not.
Oh, by the way, that is one homophobic ass drug. By the way.
Oh yeah, with same sex, it'll just make you good friends.
Which, oh god, like that really awkwardly drawn, like, Kirk and Spock holding each other over the shoulders thing.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. I mean, I knew the people who drew this had trouble with anatomy, but that really drives it home.
Oftentimes, though, I think in times past, that's how same-sex relationships are often referred.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah, that's friends. Steve and his friend Bob.
Abe Lincoln's good friend
together.
that he wrote with and lived with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was always friends.
Was Abe Lincoln gay readers?
Friends.
What do you think?
I've never heard this theory.
Abe Lincoln. More like, hey, Blinken.
You're all fired.
I was going to say, Jake, that if you and I were on the shuttlecraft, we would be jettisoned. You know that, right?
This is true.
Whoops!
Hey, Jake, and Caitlin, why don't you go check out the Ion Pod?
Although, I will say, I liked the episode, but I thought the ending was a bit drawn out and weird.
The ending was weird. I mean, and just the Spock Chapel interactions, they were like, yeah, I get it, you want Spock to, show emotions again, but this is not quite the way that it works.
Yeah. Like, again, I'm sad they used Chapel the way they did for it, but overall, I don't know, I'm a sucker for Mud, I guess. It all felt very, that part felt right, they nailed this sort of, here's Mud being a creep.
Oh my god, he
bastard.
made one comment that was great. He tried to, or he I think, succeeded in selling the natives on one planet
their own oceans.
Genius. Fucking
he sold someone else Starfleet Academy.
Mud, every time they show him, every time he's depicted, he's like a buffoon, and I can't buy that he's like this genius swindler, because
it's all an act.
If
you think he's an idiot, you think you're screwing him.
Yeah,
you think you're the smart one getting the good deal. It's
that's all just what he does
double
around,
blind or whatever.
Yeah, it's just what he does around the authorities.
I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Would you like to buy my love drug? Look how sexy Spock is right now. Don't you want that?
I mean, who doesn't?
He actually is the one that sold Methuselah there, his planet. Had no right to sell it to him, but no one else had any claims, so it just kind of worked.
That's why it was never on any of the Starfleet records.
Yeah.
I did also like the way they drew in his comb over.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was nice.
4 strands of hair.
Plus Mud, oh god, during his sales pitch to the miners, no matter how fucking awful you are, look, I'll use myself as an example. It's like, oh, Mud, don't be so hard on yourself,
They got
buddy.
his gap teeth.
They did.
It was nice as a gap-toothed person to finally see some representation in cartoons.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, his wonderful mustache.
Wonderful.
His mustache.
They nailed Mud, I guess, is what I'm saying. They got him well visually and narratively.
Yeah, he was great. I was very excited that he was back. Or at least that his actor was back.
This cat is also back and being an ass.
Guess who's back?
Buddy.
Back again. Blackie's back.
Anything else on our passionate friend Mud?
It would have been kind of funny to see a bit more of the crew being pissed at each other at the end.
That's true. I mean, we see
Scully and
McCoy.
Marist.
Chat. Yeah, they briefly, but that it's not clear what's going on at that point.
But yeah, when we see McCoy and the lady whose heart he wants to check, apparently, we don't see them again afterwards.
That would
By
have been
heart,
funny.
does he mean?
Let's check her brown eye.
Oh my god! What the fuck, Jake?
Chris, be liberal with cutting this episode.
You, my brown eye girl.
Wow, I will never be able to listen to that song the same way ever again.
Oh, I mean, that's not really a big loss. It's not a great song.
It's not. No, I haven't actually heard it in years, but... Huh. But yeah, so it would have been funny to see something maybe a little bit more. Of course, Doc would seem perfectly normal.
His normal cantankerous self. That's why we love him.
And then Shrinky Dinks, the episode.
Shrinky Dinks!
Except actually, Shrinky Dinks get big, don't they?
No, they don't. They shrink.
Oh, they do?
Hence
okay.
the name Shrinky Dinks.
I've never used Shrinky Dinks.
Okay, so Shrinky Dinks, you draw a big thing, you put it in the oven, it shrinks down to a little thing.
Okay, so Shrinky Dinks, the episode stands.
Oh, are you thinking of those Sponges, no, they get big.
No,
the
no,
sponges get
yeah,
big.
the capsules, the little capsules that you put
That's
in
what I
water.
was thinking of, the little capsules, but they're not
Those
called
are-
shrinky dinks.
Those are not shrinky dinks.
Okay.
Also, shrinky dinks. Who the fuck named this?
Well,
Shriveled
there
Dicks,
was
the
like
toy.
there was I feel like that was a thing on Gumby. Like on Gumby, there was a shrinky dink ray that made things small.
Maybe.
That, like the professor invented.
This
Is there
episode
a
was
professor
terrible,
on Gumby?
I don't remember.
I
think it must have
didn't.
been.
I didn't hate the concept. We're getting small. We have to save the tiny town. But what I was really upset with was all the animation of it because their size was incredibly inconsistent.
Yeah.
Because they'd be, they'd use like the old frames of the close-ups of just Kirk talking or Spock talking or someone talking with normal background.
Yep.
And then we'd see like later, like one of them is like the size of an action figure, and then another one, a bracelet on her wrist is maybe twice as big instead of enveloping her entire body.
Yeah, there was just also.
I hope none of them have any artificial hips.
Or yeah.
Well,
Anything.
the artificial hips are also made of an algae-based
Yes, there
whatever
we
the
go.
fuck that their clothes are made of.
What if you swallowed a penny?
Well, you're gonna fucking die. You're dead. R.I.P. that guy.
Why though? By the way, did the clothes have to be based on algae? They could have just actually been cotton,
Yeah,
which is
cotton would have been
organic.
fine. Or leather, or many other materials.
Yeah.
Well, because in a future society where, in theory, we're using less space to grow useless crops, and we're taking what we already have, and we've always said there should be a way to harness all this great fucking seaweed. I mean, we try to do that.
Yeah.
I think.
Plus, probably
So
easier to keep a bunch of spare seaweed on the ship than a bunch of sheep.
It just feels like a natural progression 300 years from now that we would actually be using things.
Well, in that way, you're not, exploiting sheep for their wool, because some people think, they get very cross about that.
Vegans, you mean?
Yes.
PETA, you mean?
Yes.
That fucking ad from PETA.
That
I
was
saw that,
a
yeah.
fake lie of
Yeah,
lies.
it's a fucking lie,
Yeah.
like everything they fucking say. Anyway, this has been Anti-PETA Corner.
What the fuck is the deal with the communicator?
Yes,
Why did the
I was
communicator
very
get
confused.
tiny when he beamed down to the planet?
Because they had made him a tiny one, because
Yeah,
he
that
was
was
tiny
okay.
when he beamed down.
Oh, did they say that?
Yeah, Spock's
Yeah.
like, I fiddled this thing together, but it might not work great.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
But then
Yeah, that
because
was my
transporters are magic, Kirk got big, and it was like, geez,
that-
we should have tried this 20 minutes ago.
Then there'd
Yeah,
be no
I liked
episode.
the episode better when I thought he was, after they had gotten the dilithium crystals, they were just going to fuck off, and that would be the
Yeah,
episode.
right? I was like, wow, he's totally fucking them over right now.
All right, arm the phasers. And then he said that, I'm like, holy shit, he's going to blow up the little town.
I thought that too.
I didn't think that, but I wanted it. I was like, I know that's not what they're doing, but man, that'd be funny.
I was personally disappointed that there was less reference to Lilliputian than there was. There was only one. At the end, he said
Yeah.
something about
The
Lilliputians.
Lilliputian city.
And I was like, God damn it. You could have really... I mean, I don't even like Gulliver's Travels, but it just was so obvious. I wanted it.
Yeah, but yeah, I thought it was a painfully stupid episode. Especially when at the end it was just like, oh, right, magic teleporters.
Yes, isn't that the second animated series episode that the transporters have saved the day?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
when they got
I mean, again, we're going to see it throughout other live action series as well. Transporters are just fucking magic.
Transporters both ruin your day and fix your day.
Yeah, they both cause and solve the problem.
Yeah, I'm not excited to see the motion picture, thanks to you guys. Nervous about that scene now.
Oh, that seems
What
horrible.
we
I
got
loved it.
back didn't live long, thankfully.
Somehow I loved that scene, but we're going to talk about that another time.
Wow.
You know what the highlight of this episode was, of the Terratin Incident?
When it ended.
No, when we saw the transparent mice and glowy fish.
Oh, yeah! I love that apparently the Enterprise keeps canaries, essentially. Because they were like, well, we keep the fish because when stuff goes funny, it changes color, and we have these gossamer mice for reasons?
The mice were really cute.
The
They
mice
were,
were
yeah.
super
I
cool.
want transparent mice.
Here's the problem, though. Like, if all organic matter was becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, the mice and the fish were growing smaller and smaller and smaller, they never went back through the teleporter to make them big again, so somewhere on the ship, there are microscopic mice.
Eating all their
Invisible, like
That's
little mice
true.
things.
That
But
is
they were
true.
super cute. I like.
I mean, they probably released. They knew the fish was somewhere in the tank, so they probably just beamed all the water out.
No, wasn't she carrying him?
No, he was in a tank.
Oh, I thought he was just floating free at one point in her hands. Like, nope, he's okay. He's just real tiny.
No, she's pointing at it because of the
Oh.
poor
This was
animation.
bad
Oh,
animation.
'cause
You
of the
couldn't see where the
animation.
glass of the things began.
Yeah.
and
But you're
started.
right. Now the mice have fucked off somewhere.
What about Majel Barrett yelling, "Help! Help!"
Oh, you mean they recorded
Help.
it twice and
Help.
just looped it for
Help.
1,000 years?
Help! Help!
Yeah.
Help!
Yeah,
Help!
it was pretty good.
And then Kirk helped her because apparently, even though it's the distant future, Doc keeps sutures and needles around just in case. Which wasn't that one of the things he was flipping out about when he was crazy? That sutures are bad.
Assassins!
Maybe it was for fixing holes in their algae clothes. You don't know.
They probably have some kind of weird fucking bio patch for that.
P.S. He threw that shit really close to her. He's lucky he didn't fucking just harpoon her. Then it would have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Well, but now her body density is so much,
That's true.
tighter.
She's probably,
Actually, you're right.
like, bulletproof.
Yeah, so the idea is of them shrinking is it's just that the space between their ions is getting, or their molecules is getting tighter and tighter and tighter, which means they all retain their same weight. So you have this tiny little 1/4 of an inch tall person who weighs 200 pounds.
It seems like it would like put a big dent in the floor.
Well, and that
Every time they step.
Oh, if they jump or something.
If they jump, they're just gonna blast right through the floor.
Sulu's lucky he didn't just like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's also how they technically say Ant-Man works.
Yeah,
So
which is
if
why
you
how
Google-
Ant-Man can pick up normal things that normal size people can pick
Why
up.
he can do that bullet thing where he shoots through shit. It's
Yeah,
heavy
so
and
like-
That's the
small.
case. How the hell did Chapel even was able to swim? She should have just sunk to the bottom.
Right,
like a
well,
stone.
that's the same thing you see with, again, Ant-Man, but you can Google, like, people have found all the holes in the logic of shrinking via reducing distance, and, like, yeah, there's all these inconsistencies, like, why didn't why didn't Sulu puncture the deck? Why didn't Christine just sink like a fucking rock?
And why was she able to use a thread to swim back up?
Yeah,
She weighs,
like-
108.
I wondered for a second what that thread was made of. If their clothes are algae-based, why wasn't the thread also shrunk down?
I was thinking nylon was my thought.
But they've already established that their clothes are made of algae.
Well, if Chris is correct and it was meant for suturing, it might have been made of something else.
Oh, that would make sense.
Although, even...
Catgut.
Yeah,
Of course,
And
there was
also
also
organic.
there was also just a toothpick lying around on the bridge earlier.
It was like
toothpick?
it looked like
I
a
thought it
metal
was metal.
toothpick. It looked like metal, yeah.
Yeah, but there was just a random... there's a lot of just junk sitting around on the Enterprise,
Well,
apparently.
who the fuck's gonna vacuum?
No, robots.
Yeoman Rand.
Yeah, and she's gone, so see.
Damn it, everything's a mess.
Space is a vacuum.
So, are all of their clothes in their wardrobes and their quarters also tiny now?
Yes.
Oh no!
Yes, they are.
All the
They
sheets, the sheets on their bed just popped right off.
The next episode is the Naked Time Part 2. Everybody's literally just wearing fig leaf because they got nothing to wear.
The literal naked time. Yeah, they had to spend a bunch of time and energy just re-teleporting everyone's clothes.
And their food would also be fucked up.
Well, they have to synthesize it first, so if it hadn't been synthesized at the time, it's probably
What
fine.
do they synthesize it out of? Just
They
other
never-
matter?
they never
Algae.
say.
Is it also
It's probably
organic
algae.
matter? Because then it's tiny and you can't eat that. It's tiny and very, very heavy.
They'll be having lots of very hearty meals then.
Oh no.
Stews and oatmeals.
Oof.
Well, yeah, because
Lasagna.
the calories in the food would not have changed. So you could have a whole meal that's like this big.
Oh my god, it's the perfect future where you have all the nutrients of a meal in one little capsule and you're never
Yeah.
hungry. Fuck that future.
but
If I
it's
ever have to
probably-
if I'm ever not gonna be able to eat, that would make me so sad.
Here's the thing. Like what are the enjoyable parts of eating? A lot of it is taste and texture,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. If you
Not
wanted to get
the
taste
calories.
with like a spray, like a Listerine spray kind of, but with like ham.
Ham spray.
Is that like Amspray?
Ham
Yeah.
spray.
That sounds wretched.
It does sound awful.
Meat banaka.
Well, in the future, that Willy Wonka gum that turns violet
There it
into a
is.
blueberry exists, but there's no calories and it doesn't turn you into a blueberry.
Well, you
They fixed the
chew the
blueberry
gum,
part.
but you have a pill earlier that has your calories and stuff.
Exactly. All right. Well, if we're gonna have like full meal flavored gum and capsules, I'm fine with that.
I'm not.
I want tacos.
Thank you, Jake.
If I can't have tacos, I don't want to live anymore.
I like turtles.
Turtles are cool.
Anyway, back to Star Trek for at least a little bit.
Yeah, Star Trek.
I don't really-
Yeah, there was another moment while we were talking about they're tiny, but they retain their normal
mass
strength
and
and mass, where they're trying to like flip the transporter switches, and it takes 3 guys to pull this twine to pull them
But
up.
they should still be as strong as
Yeah.
they were
Should
before.
have
It
just
should just
thrown
be
somebody at it. That would have
done.
done it.
The way they'd originally shown the silhouette, I was actually expecting just one guy was going to just sort of jump holding the ropes, and that was what I was going to work.
Well, that would just tear the panel over.
Yeah, you're putting your full weight into the panel.
150-pound man jumping off a thing.
Yeah.
They didn't think this through very
well.
No, they didn't. It's a terrible episode.
Considering they made such a point of saying it's because our molecules are getting closer together, we retain our same weight. You had the idea, yet then you forgot it.
Completely.
No.
And then, Oh, God. Also, I know it's, of all the issues, it's the least important to harp on. But the fact that it's Terratin because, it was originally Terratin.
Here's the stupid part about that. If the people of there remember, we were an outpost from ancient Earth that used to be called Terratin, but our language corrupted it into Terratin, you shouldn't know that.
Yeah, that's
I think it was Spock who worked
Did
that
Spock
out.
figure that out? Okay, that makes
He
a little
worked
more
out that they
sense.
were
But I got
descended
very
from that.
angry at the stupid Terratin people.
Yeah.
Also, they evolved to be small? Is that what they were
No,
saying?
there was radiation.
Well, no, I get that, but radiation made their ancestors small, and then they just...
And then it just became part of their genetics.
Right, and they just...
Somehow.
So now here's the question. Do the Terratins weigh X hundred number of pounds? Or
I know. They beamed up their whole fucking city. That's like tons and tons and tons of city right there, probably.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Holy shit. This episode sucks.
I figured maybe when they got beamed up, they would have been made normal human size.
End of the series. They beam up the city. It turns into a city. Everyone's dead.
Yep.
Enterprise is torn
Destroys
asunder.
the ship.
Everyone's out in the vacuum of space.
And that's great, because then we don't have to watch any more of the animated series.
Yes, but then we never got in the movies.
I think I've been... I'm imagining it as they're like, we'll find another planet to set you down on and, just deposit the city. I'm picturing, next week's episode, it'll just be like Spock or McCoy's like, oh, look, I got a new terrarium decoration
Oh, no.
for the glowy fish.
Just him leaning in. Dance for me.
Oh, God.
Tiny, tiny lowy fish.
It's gotten dark.
Dak.
Well, and also, though, would the teleporter work on those... The teleporter wouldn't work on those people, because they never beamed out to begin with, so they don't have saved copies.
Well, it's also just
they don't have backup drives.
It's in their genetics to be tiny now, so...
Fine.
Well, the other thing, too, is that the transporter only has... I imagine it only has memory of people who've used it before.
Yeah, exactly.
So if there's somebody on the ship that's never used the transporter before...
They couldn't have got on the ship with, the shuttlecraft. Holy shit.
If they pull a McCoy in TNG and refuse to use the
Well, after you saw that shit from the motion picture, would you want to?
Well, here's the thing. Motion picture-wise, McCoy does use the transporter.
We'll get to that in just a couple
But
of
for fuck's sake, McCoy, be consistent.
It's true.
Yeah, it's, transporters are magic. Everything will be fine.
Yeah.
It has a basic human pattern in there. They can just apply it to everyone regardless somehow through reasons.
Yeah, sounds right. Perfect.
Sweet.
Well, what's next, guys?
That is an excellent question. Next week, we are looking at The Time Trap, the ambergris element,
What?
space whales, I guess,
Close.
and the slaver weapon.
Someone going to make sure to explain it to Ahura really thoroughly in that
I
episode?
hope so.
Or...
No.
They're gonna have to.
So this has been episode 45 of A Star to Steer Her By. Thank you very much for joining us. As always, do please find and like our Facebook page, A Star to Steer Her By. Do please subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting application. If you use iTunes, consider giving us a rating and review. We are on Twitter and Tumblr as SSHB Podcast. For A Star to Steer Her By, this has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
And this is always Jake.
Thank you very much for listening.
Be sure to tip your yeoman. Anyway.
Does she go into heat? That'd be several episode arc.
I mean, Vulcan.
Allow me to add that to my slash fiction. Heat. She just goes on a fucking unstoppable fuck rampage across the ship.
Unstoppable fuck rampage. Oh, why is it so funny?
That's it. That's poetic, Caitlin.
Thank you. Take great pride in my work.
I'd like to think somewhere out there's a species that just calls their mating cycle the unstoppable fuck rampage.
Well, it's like...
Probably Eric's people. Oh no, it's Eric's unstoppable fuck rampage season. Everyone duck!